Hello there. Welcome to my show, COVID-19 update by Heerak. It's January 8th, 2021. Yes, do you remember the summer? It was like 6 months ago, and summer is like 6 months away. Yes, you're probably crying crocodile tears. Today is bubble bath day. And for those of us who are in East Coast, I'm coming to you from Arlington, Virginia. It's like freezing weather, 32 degrees. And people in the Midwest, you know how cold it is. So you find solace in like bubble bath day. you know, Today is bubble bath day. So she's probably thinking about that guy who broke into Capitol Hill and sat on Pelosi's seat with his foot up. A lot of women are dreaming about him. The bad boys. Girls go for the bad boys. Nice guys finish last. Bad boys always get the girl. You know how that is. Yeah. 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 What can you say? Women are who they are. They say they like nice guys, but they boys date bad boys. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Oh, yeah, these nice girls probably go for bad boys too. The summer is, like 6 months away. And in the summertime, some women like going fishing. Some women like playing football. I don't know if, is that like an underwear or like a swimming suit? Michigan swimming suit. I don't know. But Michigan is a big football school, University of Michigan. And that's where the M comes from. Blue is Michigan color. Some women just like to show off their bum, their back. Very nice, yeah, you gotta work at it to have a body like that, it doesn't come easy. Doesn't come from eating Ben and Jerry's ice cream, Boycott Ben and Jerry's ice cream. It will only make you fat, you know. Yeah, so yeah, and some people like to play frisbee next to Trigger, play some frisbee. Some people like to play golf during summer. Do the do, Mountain Dew. you know. Um, anyway, I like Mountain Dew. Tastes good. um, yeah. Um, yeah. 4,001 people have died in the last 24 hours in the United States of America. That girl is so cute. That girl. With a Michigan. You know. Colors and football. She's really pretty. There are a lot of beautiful women in the world. I thank God I'm alive because there's so many beautiful women in the world, Um, Virginia Hospital Center actually has quite a number of attractive women. It was a pleasant surprise. I don't know if all the hospitals are like that, because some hospitals, I don't think nurses are that pretty. Or even, like at Virginia Hospital Center, nurses are pretty. Physical therapists are pretty, occupational therapists are pretty, respiratory therapists are not that pretty. They're mostly guys. That's why I haven't really seen a single pretty respiratory therapist yet. So sorry, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say they're pretty respiratory therapists when I haven't seen one yet. But there may be. I just haven't seen one. Oh, they're really pretty doctors, hospitalists, physicians assistants. Oh, there's really, really amazingly pretty physicians assistants. Yeah, I've got to talk to some of them. They're really attractive. Some of you probably could have run for like a beauty pageant and won. No, seriously, I'm not kidding. There's some physician assistants at Virginia Hospital Center who are amazingly pretty. Um, they're like really tall and pretty. Yeah. I was like, man, they have good genes. Um, I guess there are some nice doctors too, pretty. Most of the doctors I've seen are like men. So, but I mean, there are some female doctors and they're very attractive. Um, you know, uh, yeah, I think Virginia Hospital is one of these hospitals with attractive people. Um, Not all hospitals are like that. But yeah, Virginia Hospital Center we're blessed with a lot of attractive people. Maybe it's because it's Arlington. I think Arlington is one of the counties that's kind of blessed with attractive people. You know, I don't know what it is, but yeah, even in my cohort, RN residency cohort, there are 16 of us. There are some really attractive women. And I've met women from other RN residency cohorts, and they're attractive too. So yeah, yeah. So I think it's I don't know, maybe Virginia Hospital Center attracts like attractive people. I don't know, maybe. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thank God I'm there. I mean, it was my first choice even before I knew there were attractive nurses and occupational therapists and physical therapists and attractive, physicians assistants and hospitalists. But now that I know, I'm like, thank you, Lord Jesus, you love me. Thank you, Lord Jesus, I know you love me. you know, um, because to appreciate God's beautiful creation, it's kind of like visiting Yosemite or like Zion Canyon, Zion National Canyon in Utah. Amazing. You have to visit it if you haven't done so yet. Maybe next summer, um, you can do that. Yeah, I mean, watching beautiful women, like that. I mean, definitely beats like Zion National Park, and I love Zion National Park. It's one of the prettiest parks that I've seen. But oh my gosh, there are some women who are so beautiful. You're like, my gosh, that's like I could just like look at her beauty for days, like nonstop. You know, um, I had a girlfriend in Germany, and I don't know if you like hearing these stories or not. But I'll share it with anyway. If you don't like the story, you can turn it off. Uh, but yeah, I had this girlfriend in Germany. Um, she was like, I guess 18. I think she was 18. I think that's what she said. She was 18. She was a first year student at University of Heidelberg. So she was a freshman. So I met her. How did I meet her? I don't know. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I met her. Okay, this is yeah. I think I shared this story with you before. I went to Argentinian tango dancing. They had like this free Argentinian tango lesson class for University of Heidelberg students in the summer. So I went there because I wanted to learn Argentinian tango and it was free. you know, I'm researching Jewish studies at University of Heidelberg with world famous Geert Tyson, who's like one of the like who's like some people see him as number one expert of Jewish studies in Germany. Geert Tyson, University of Heidelberg professor. Um, I was researching with him on Jewish identity, Jewish social movements, and he's kind of famous for examining Jesus as a charismatic leader. That's his thing. And he studied a lot of charismatic leaders in the Jewish tradition, uh, especially around the time of Jesus. So he's an expert on that. Um, so I was researching with him, and he put me up in his home for like a few weeks until I found an apartment. Um, and Yeah, so I went to and then I found like a studio apartment in Heidelberg in downtown area, and I went to this Argentinian tango class, And we're learning the lessons, and then you have a time when you dance with people. And I looked around the room and I said, "Who's the most pretty woman in the room?" There was this girl with like really, really, really nice black dress, like and she, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, she had revealing dress, so it was like one of those dresses where you have one line, it wasn't strapless, but like one line, because Argentinian that when you're dancing around, if you're strapless, you'll probably fall out. I don't know, maybe not. I don't know how women's dresses work, but she had this one strap, like thin strap going on both sides, like this flag, but like a thin strap, and and um and she had a black dress and it was showing a lot of cleavage. I'm a guy. What can I say? And my eyes immediately went there. Out of all the women there, you know, I, God created men like this. We. So and she was pretty, and she was she's like 18, at the height of her beauty, right? I mean, most girls are pretty when they're 18, uh, especially if they're thin. So so I so I went and asked her to dance with me, and she said yes. And she said she missed the last train home. But she was a freshman at Heidelberg University, but she lived like she took a train, like commuter train, to a cheaper rent area. Um, she's from Bremen, and so she found an apartment, I guess, like cheaper. And, I took her word for it, and she said, she missed her train. So I invited her over to my place, for pizza, you know, frozen pizza. So we microwave two frozen pizzas, and she and I share that. Um, and we start watching. You know, she lay down in the couch, and I sat like in front of her. And we were watching kind of TV, and she was kind of tired, so she said she's just kind of relaxing. And I started massaging her hands and her arms, and her shoulders, and I kind of massaged her arm for like I don't know, maybe it was massaged her fingers, her arm, like lower arm, upper arm, probably for like like there was like MTV music videos playing. And I sat there and we're just kind of chilling, and I was, I was like kind of massaging her, and she, I did that for hours, just like her, both her hands, fingers and hand and arm, and she was, I guess she enjoyed that, so, um, yeah, and I massage other parts too, but, um, yeah, I mean, it just, you know, yeah, it just, well, how did we get into this topic? But she's, you know, yeah, I like giving women pleasure, so she seemed to derive a lot of pleasure from that. It gave me pleasure to see her pleasure. So but yeah, but it's interesting. She was really thin. And but she told me like she lost like 100 pounds. I mean, I believe her, of course, but I can't imagine her being 100 pounds heavier. She said she lost 100 pounds, and I remember one time, it was another time, different year. I went to England as a tourist. This was before, Cambridge days. And I stayed at like, one of those cheap places where you pay like $15 for like a bed in a big area. One of those cheap areas, when I think that's it was like when I was like, I don't know, maybe college student. And there was this, girl in that youth hostel who was like amazingly beautiful. Um, so I asked her, hey, you want to go see a musical together? Because London is a really happening place. And she was like 100 pounds, and she's like, yeah, I'm from Peoria, Illinois. I don't even know where that place is. Peoria, Illinois. So we went, and saw a musical together. I think we saw. I don't remember what we saw. I was sitting next to her. She was so pretty. Um, yeah. And She also told me that she lost like 100 pounds. 100. Like, does this really happen? Do women actually lose 100 pounds? I don't know. I was just thinking about that. But yeah, beautiful women make the world go around. I tell you, there are beautiful women just look at for hours, and you wouldn't be bored. You'd be like, if you have a choice between looking at like, Niagara Falls, Grand Canyon, and a beautiful woman, I wouldn't even think twice. I'd rather get a beautiful woman for, you know what I mean? Because it's God's creation, right? Niagara Falls is God's creation. Grand Canyon is God's creation. Beautiful women are God's creation, And I've been around the world. I traveled around the world, and I still, I marvel at the most is like beautiful women. And there are some women who are just amazingly beautiful. Um, and it's like a treat when you see one of them. You know, it's not often, but you see them and you're like, whoa, oh, she's really pretty. And you're just taken back. Um, yeah, and summer is great because you go to the beach and you see women, wearing a swimming suit, especially with nice bodies, not just pretty faces, but with nice bodies. And they had to like give up Ben and Jerry's ice cream. We got Ben and Jerry's ice cream. To lose weight. I mean, if you're having Ben and Jerry's ice cream, you're not going to be thin like that. You know what I mean? I mean, all that sugar goes to your thighs, and you have thunder thighs. Um, if you want to have nice thighs like that, you don't have Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Yeah. I mean, geez, you gotta give up something for beauty. I mean, you think you'd be beautiful and eat Ben and Jerry's ice cream? Um, there's a reason why ice cream is called Ben and Jerry's. It's two fat guys, Ben and Jerry. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Hilga and Inga, ice cream. Because Hilga and Inga from Sweden would not eat ice cream because that's why they have such nice bodies. Yeah. Yeah, stop eating that ice cream. Summer is coming in 6 months. Um, but it's nice, when you caress a woman, she has a nice body, and you caress, like you massage your stomach, and you're like nice, beautiful stomach like that. I mean, it's like it's an experience. Um, yeah, I mean, it's not easy to have a stomach like that. You think that's easy? Yeah. Yeah, but you're 18 once, right? I mean, or you're 20. Well, you're 18 to 22 once. Yeah, like 4 years. I mean, one of the great things about like some colleges going online is like women will not be gaining their freshman 15, 15 pounds first year of college, because that really makes women look ugly, when they gain 15 pounds. Because fat is, I mean, I'm not trying to fat shame anybody, but being fat is like the worst thing that could happen to a woman, in terms of like her personal future happiness. 'Cause men are like so superficial and men are kind of dumb. So we look at a woman who's attractive and like I would marry her without even thinking. If she's Christian. I don't care like what she is. Like, she could she could be a high school dropout. I don't care. If she wants to marry me, hey, I'll help her get her GED. You know, she doesn't need a college degree. College degree is overrated. If she's a good wife to me and good mother to my children, who cares about a college degree? We have a happy home. I mean, if she's PhD, I don't care. I mean, she has body like that, looks pretty like that, and she's like between 18 and 20, 24 with a PhD. Great. More power to her. Um, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, guys are kind of like that. It doesn't matter what the woman has as long as she's pretty, has a nice body like that. That's the most important thing. Other things are not that important. Because what are you gonna do? Like talk about like physics with a girl who has a PhD in physics? Geez, I mean, wouldn't you rather have sex with her if you're married to her? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, who wants to talk about physics? You know, time flies when you like pleasuring a woman. It's amazing. Um, and it's funny, like when you pleasure a woman, women like, women really like that. Like they are really, I don't know, it's hard to explain. They I don't know. I mean, there may be something attached to that because I think some women kind of like, fall in love just because of that. Um, yeah, I don't know. Women are like a mystery in a way. I guess if you're not a woman, I mean, you don't really understand women. Like women going after bad guys. What's up with that? Like I'm sure there are a lot of millions of American women who just like are hard and heavy for that guy who went into Nancy Pelosi's room and U.S. Congress and put his foot up. That's the kind of thing girls like. Girls like that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, high school was like that too, right? It was like the cool guys were the guys who acted like that. You know what I mean? Those are the cool guys. Nerds are like the people who are like, oh, you put your foot on the teacher's desk. You put a foot on your teacher's desk. Those are the nerds. Like, they can't get a date. You know what I'm saying? These congressmen, are like, oh, like, put a foot on the desk of Nancy Pelosi. How dare they? Like, I bet they never had a girlfriend in their high school years. You know what I'm saying? What nerds, man. It's ridiculous the way they talk. I mean, it's like they're out of touch with America. I mean, they make such a big deal out of nothing. I mean, geez. I mean, it's not like, I mean, these protesters just were protesting, it just kind of overflowed into Congress. And it's not like, they planned to invade the Congress. It just happened. I mean, get over it. Jeez, for God's sake. All these people like crying and crocodile tears. I'm a nerd, crocodile tears. These congressmen. Jeez, man, get alive. I mean, there are 4,000 Americans dying every day. I mean, focus on that. I mean, oh, you were scared? Oh, you were scared because a bunch of cool people came into your Congress and with their flags and stuff like that. You were scared? Oh, poor you. Poor you. You were scared. Just like you were scared in high school when you were a nerd. You can picture these like congressmen, congresswomen being nerds in high school, like being scared at the cool kids. I could picture that. Can you picture that? I mean, every time they go to the TV and start making big fuss out of a little thing, they're making a mountain out of molehill. So that's absolutely ridiculous. You could picture them like making a mountain out of molehill in high school. Oh, teacher, Mrs. Jägermeister, Mrs. Jägermeister. He is like riding on my notebook. You know. Uh, you know, uh, the cool teachers are like, just shut up. Stop interrupting the class. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, there are a lot of cool teachers out there. Yeah, so 4,001 people have died, in the last 24 hours. Life is short, so make the best of it. You may die of COVID. Life is too short, I mean, geez, life is too short to be like crying like babies in Congress like that. Geez, Americans, these stimulus checks, I mean, they should be focusing on American people, not on like themselves. Oh, we were so scared that cool people came into our Congress. It's only for nerds. It's only for nerds. No cool people allowed. You know what I'm saying? Such idiots. I bet the police officers, Capitol Police, were laughing through the whole thing inside. Outside, obviously, they had to like act all serious, but I mean, like American people are like laughing at all these congressmen making a mountain out of molehill. It's a protest that's kind of flowed into the building. It's not like people plan to like invade the Capitol Hill or something like that. It's just like a little protest that kind of a little bit out of hand. I mean, it happens. It's kind of like you when your parents are away and you throw a party. You should do that, obviously, but and then it gets out of hand. Like the movie that made who is that? Tom Cruise famous. What was that movie? Uh, oh, yeah, I worked a 12-hour shift at Virginia Hospital Center today, so I'm a little bit tired. But obviously, I want to give you an update on what's going on with COVID. Um, but I like saving people's lives in Virginia Hospital Center as a nurse. I'm a registered nurse, and I mean, you see some patients, improving significantly, and it's a rewarding experience, to help them, and and you bring joy to their family because you've helped the patient to recover or become well again. Um, but yeah. So yeah, but I worked 12-hour shift today. I worked 12-hour shift yesterday. Um, yeah. So yeah, pretty intense. I was talking to one of my friends, and she worked 12-hour shift 3 days in a row. Yeah, but she's like, yeah, I work 3 days in a row, and then I get 4 days off. I'm like, man, that's not a bad idea. 3 days you're kind of working, but you get 4 days off. You could do a lot of stuff then. If there weren't COVID, you could like fly over to like, a tourist spot and fly back. You know, um, but yeah, yeah, 368,736 people have died so far in America. 21,857,293 people have gotten COVID. Still, it's less than 10%. It's minuscule number of Americans have gotten it because we have 330 million Americans. So yeah, and she has a really nice body. The girl in the center. Dear Lord, just give me a woman with that kind of body. you know, a lot of guys. I'm not gonna lie. If there weren't COVID, maybe I wouldn't be so honest with you. No, I don't know. Because a lot of people lie and try to, you know, but most men, 99.9% of men would want a wife who has that kind of body. I mean, geez, I mean, let's be honest here. Um, so if you're a woman, you should strive to have a body like that. I mean, just stop eating the Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Especially if you're a Christian, you should be a blessing to your future husband. I mean, keep that weight off because beauty's beauty, you know. And the greatest gift that you could give to your husband, obviously, is virginity, and greatest gift you could give to your wife is virginity too. But the second greatest gift is um, Virgin Mary, the Mother of God. Obviously, there's a reason why we venerate respect Virgin Mary, right? She's a virgin. When she got pregnant with Jesus, the Holy Spirit miraculously made her pregnant. Um, yeah, virginity matters to God. Virginity matters in Christianity, right? Virginity is important in Christianity. It has always been important. Um, but you know, the second greatest gift you could give to your husband is like nice body like that, you know, because you can enjoy each other, you know, and guys are superficial, so they like to enjoy a nice body, you know. So it's important. You gotta, you know, if you're a Christian out there, Christian woman, you should work to have a beautiful body. That's the, you know, you want to give a gift to your husband, right? And you want your husband to love you. Uh, and you know, he will love you more if you have a nice body like that than if you don't. You know, love can always increase. You know, so yeah, strive to have a nice body like that. You know, eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But for breakfast, you shouldn't eat that much. You know, just have like a piece of egg. You know, you boil egg. You have one boiled egg, one piece of bread. Put it in a toaster. Put like a jam or butter. Have one piece of toast with jam or butter, or margarine is better. And boiled egg. You know, and then for lunch you could have like one sandwich. You know, uh, salad with diet dressing, or better yet, like oil and vinegar. And then for dinner you have like salad with oil and vinegar, and small piece of meat. You know, like salmon or whatever. Yeah, you don't have to like starve yourself. Just if you're hungry, eat like bananas. You know, fruits and vegetables. Don't snack on like other things. Yeah. So yeah. See, her body's really nice. I'm just, I mean, yes, part of it is blessing from God. You have the genes and you're born with it, but it doesn't matter if you're born with it. You have to maintain it. Um, yeah. It takes effort. If you're watching TV and eating potato chips every day, obviously you're gonna get fat. So stop eating potato chips. You know, yeah. I'm not eat potato chips. Once you're married. No, don't gain weight once you're married. Give your husband at least 10 good years. Uh, and then you can have potato chips. Yeah, I'm just trying to watch out for your happiness and your husband's happiness. Because if your husband's happy, you're going to be happy. Um, Men will try harder if you have body like that, and if you don't, it's just that's how it is. Guys are like that. Guys are really dumb and superficial. I mean, what can you do? Life is like that. You know. Yeah. So top. Oh, the top 19 cases in Middle East. Um, yeah, it's Iran, Iraq, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan. Um, I think that may actually be from a while ago. How did that table get in there? Hmm. But it was like that, I think a few days ago. But yeah, but compared to USA, it's minuscule, right? But Israel has the greatest number, or the best percentage, 0.8% death. But as I mentioned before, they're Arabic nations where no one's dying per day. Yeah, so obviously they're not going to be in top five. Um, but Israel's beating out Saudi Arabia and Jordan, you know, and Iraq and Iran. So that's something that they could celebrate. Um, in terms of survival rate, 0.8% dying. Um, Italy extends strict lockdown. So Italy has the greatest number of COVID-19 deaths in Europe. First article, Italy extends strict COVID-19 lockdown. Um, Italy is extending its holiday pandemic restrictions through at least January 15th. I don't know, Italy seems to be doing something wrong. I mean, January 15th is middle of winter. Shouldn't they extend it to like March or April? You know what I'm saying? What's up with that? No wonder they're number one in COVID-19 death. They make smart decisions to reduce COVID-19 death. Um, Government officials there have announced the rules prohibit travel between regions of the country unless it's for healthcare or work. Bars and restaurants nationwide are restricted to takeout and delivery. In the hardest hit areas of Italy, people are told to visit no more than one other private home each day in group no larger than two. That's why it's going wrong. I mean, strict quarantine means no visitation. That's how China got their COVID-19 deaths to zero. You got to be committed to reducing your COVID-19 death to zero. Or this is a 365 days a year virus. It's going to kill like thousands every day, as it's the case in America. Yeah, dedication is needed to reduce it to zero. Um, Italian officials are making allowances for small town residents to travel on certain days. On January 9th and 10th, for example, residents of towns with fewer than 5,000 people will be permitted to travel about 18 miles past regional borders. Italy has so far reported more than 76,000 deaths. Yeah, number one in Europe. Second article, Italy delays reopening of high schools until January 11th. What? They're going to open high schools in January 11th? Are they crazy? They're like number one in COVID-19 death. You know, opening schools is what's spreading COVID-19 death, for God's sake. Um, Italy's decision to delay reopening of high schools until January 11th follows heated debate in government. Kindergarten, elementary, and middle schools will reopen as planned on January 7th. Oh, geez, they're already open. See, this is why Italy is number one COVID-19 death. They don't know what they're doing. New anti-COVID measures will be in place from 7 to 15 January, with Italy becoming an orange zone on the weekend of January 9 to 10. The Italian government has decided to reopen Italy's high schools on Monday 11 January, not on Thursday 7th of January. Today is Friday. Wait a minute, Thursday. Today's the 8th. So amid an extension of anti-COVID measures in place over the Christmas period. See, Italy doesn't know what it's doing. That's the problem. That's why they're number one in COVID death. You have to strictly lock down when you're number one country for COVID-19 death. There's no other way to reduce the deaths. Um, yeah, COVID hit Italy gripped by political crisis, and that's in Algeria. Algeria. Italy's Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte has more than enough on his plate as he deals with a raging coronavirus pandemic, but also faces the more immediate challenge of staying in office. Despite a soaring COVID-19 death toll and with the deadline looming to come up with a credible plan to spend billions of euros in EU recovery funds, the government has been consumed for weeks by internal sniping from former Prime Minister Maestro Renzi. Renzi has threatened to withdraw his Italia Viva, Italy Live, party from the center left coalition heads, which would force its collapse. Yeah, it's kind of like, if the Republicans don't keep it together, the party can collapse. Um, yeah, yeah. So let's see what happens in the coming days with the Republican Party. They seem like they don't know what they're doing, but yeah, who knows what God's will is for them. Um, I don't want Republican Party to collapse because I've been a lifelong Republican. But let's see what happens, right? What else can we say? Um, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of good people in the Republican Party, especially the voters. I think majority of the voters of the Republican Party are good people. Um, yeah, but anyway, yeah, I'll bring you more information on COVID-19 tomorrow. Unfortunately, today was about what not to do, and Italy provides us example of what not to do to have a lot of COVID death. Maybe we could come up with an example of what to do to evade COVID death, but certainly Italy, unfortunately, is an example of what not to do, or you result in a lot of COVID death. Yeah, so don't do what Italy does if you want to save your citizens. Italy may wise up, but right now it doesn't seem to be very wise in terms of dealing with COVID, and that's really sad for the Italian people. Yeah, what can you do? Um, as you know, I created this show to save you and your children from COVID-19 death. So I'm committed to you and your children. I want to save your lives, so I'm going to provide information that can help you. Obviously, you're not a slave. You do what you want. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Nobody's forcing you to do anything because you're not a slave. But obviously, if you don't wear a mask, your chance of getting COVID and dying is much higher. So you're taking a risk. Um, yeah, but um, but I'm going to provide you with information, and you do what you want with your life. You're not a slave. Um, you know, um, our country is a country built on First Amendment. You have the right to believe what you want, think what you want, say what you want. You have the right to associate with whoever you want. Yeah, so yeah, don't be afraid to be an American. You have the right to protest. Yeah. Um, so we have protests from the left and the right. So we're kind of balancing things out. Um, I'm not going to condemn Republican protesters who kind of flowed into the Capitol Hill. That happens. It's not like they meant to like start a coup d'état or anything like that. I mean, don't have a cow. I mean, geez, don't get all bent out of shape. It just happened. It's like people were just protesting and somehow it flowed over. I mean, geez, I mean, don't make it out to be more than what it is. I mean, you see like liberal media, they're trying to make it out to be like some kind of coup d'etat or something. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's nothing like that. Just people are protesting and this got out of hand. It got a little bit out of hand. I mean, geez, move on. MoveOn.com, MoveOn.org, whatever it is. I mean, geez, like get a perspective. There are 4,000 Americans dying every day. Isn't that something you should be focusing on? You're making like mountain out of molehills. This is ridiculous. What the liberal media is doing and what these like nerdy, U.S. congressmen and women are doing. They're making like a mountain out of molehill. It's ridiculous. Yeah, just it is what it is. People are protesting. It got a little bit out of hand, and then I mean, then it, people were told to leave and people left. I mean, geez, for God's sake, don't make it out to be like more than that. They weren't plotting to like do anything. I mean, geez, just sometimes when you're protesting, it gets a little bit out of hand. I mean, they didn't burn any police cars. They didn't burn any buildings. They didn't do any looting of the stores. I mean, geez, just keep a perspective. Um, I don't believe the liberal media that like tries to portray it as some kind of coup d'etat, It's absolutely ridiculous. Um, yeah, but anyway, I'm hoping that you'll be well and your children will be well. Tune in tomorrow, and I'll bring you more important things that you need to know. Obviously, you're not a slave. Do what you want, but obviously, it's good to have ideas and information, right? So you can make the best decision for yourself and your children. Because only you can make the best decision for yourself and your children, right? End of the day, you have to look out for your children and yourself. And that's what makes capitalism great. Everybody's looking out for their self-interest, right? So tune in tomorrow, and I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So I hope you will be well, and then your children will be well too. Bye. See you tomorrow.